I might be broke, but at least I'm eating steak. So, waiting for people to get on here. I was on earlier with Antonio Todd, and I said I want to get back on here, even if nobody come on with me. A lot to talk about, a lot of different things of life. So waiting for people to get on here. It sounds crazy, but I'm gonna eat a steak while I'm on here. I'm listening to Hassan Campbell right now.
Your mother is stupid for not.
And he makes a lot of sense. I'm a big Trump supporter, but you know what he's saying right now makes a lot of sense.
And we on a break already of martial law.
We should be the speakers for our children instead of, you know, he says, I'm not a Democrat, I'm not a Republican, I'm for the children. I get that. That sounds dope.
Telling you the doomsday prep. What's so stupid about
so,
it? Is he stupid or
I might play some clips.
No, your mama's stupid. Your mother.
So, hey, wifey. So, we ain't here for our children, then what are we here for? You know, we do everything, you know, I always felt like men do everything to make their wife happy. They go make money so they could get the girl. But then somewhere along the way, some of us forget about our children. And we should be a voice for you know, our children to make sure their lives, you know, are what we're here for, you know. That's what this is going to be about today. We're going to talk about hip hop. Once people get on here, hey, what's up, yo? Oh God, what up, baby? Did you guys make it to the club?
I was in a space where I couldn't get a job. I had no money to afford daycare. I had nobody to even pick my kids up from school. So how could I have gotten a job? So at that point in life, I really needed those food stamps.
I don't know. They're hearing this, you know, with losing the food stamps. I'm not really keen, like, knowing exactly what happened. It's kind of one of these parts I didn't follow. I'm not on food stamps, but I could be. I'm broke. So I'm trying to see what that's all about. You know, Hassan Campbell's talking about that. Puts a lot of people in some hard situations. In some aspects, I like the food stamp law. Like, I guess it's you know, a lot of it's, you know, you got to go to work, but then there's some people just are working collecting food stamps, you know, and they're not able to get it. So that part of it, I mean, it doesn't mean I'm going to stop voting for Trump, but that's something I don't understand why he did what he did. Not really sure why he did that. Don't understand. So, with that being said, I'm also going to talk about how, so listen, I'm eating a steak. I have steak. I eat steak walking. I said I'm broke. You know, I lost $160,000 altogether. Like, well, I lost a lot more money than that. But, you know, talking about being broke and I'm able to eat a steak. And how I was able to do that, I bought my steak before all my money was taken. So at least I still got my steak. So we were on earlier talking. We had a skit. It was pretty funny. And we played some music on there. And like I always do, I love playing other people's music that are, you know, really trying to work hard and they got dope stuff, and that's what this platform's for. So everybody in here now, it's like, you know, my real followers and fans on here that like what I had to say, and I just listen to Hassan. I don't agree, Hassan Campbell. I don't agree with a lot of things he say, but you know, especially with his politics. But he did say one thing is, you know, the only real place, you know, Christians should be worried about is Israel. That's, you know, that's if you're a Christian, you know, that's the home of God. So, but it doesn't seem like much we're really worried about. We're worried about everything else, you know, oil and riches of men who already got lots of riches. So, that being said, yeah, like I'm eating steak, and I used to, you know, a month ago, I couldn't complain about a damn thing. Had a nice car, beautiful wife, and now I don't have any of those things, and I have money in my bank account. And now I'm here, and I got the most beautiful fans and followers. I'm helping build this and build this up. And I'm sorry if I'm eating in front of you, but I just want to show you I'm eating steak. At least I'm eating steak. But I wanted to play a clip from Hassan Campbell that made a lot of sense. Hope I don't get in trouble for playing it, but I'm gonna do it anyways. All right. Got this video. Hang in there, guys. I'm gonna pull this clip up. He's also getting sued by Whack 100. I know Whack 100 came on there to talk about the paperwork he had on Max B, but I don't remember. Let's see. It's federal bail. Let's see what we got here. I'm gonna play that for a few minutes and see here. A lot of people are talking about Pooh Shiesty. I don't really know what happened there. Dude, or win in court. Fat Joe scores big win in court case. Yeah, let's listen what that is. Here.
Y'all ready?
And we all lovers of Fat Joe on here, so let's
When you
listen
come
to
in my
that.
house, take off your shoes and super violate that like button. It don't cost you nothing to hit that like button. Shall we begin? Shall we begin?
Who said hi to me at the bottom there?
Now, some
Diana?
of the charges
No, it says
on Fat Joe
someone new.
have
I don't
been
know.
dropped.
Oh, is that Cheyenne?
The SA charges on Fat Joe have been dropped.
Hey, Cheyenne, if that's Cheyenne.
Everybody want my take on the situation, so I'm gonna give you my take. Just because charges was dropped doesn't mean Joe was innocent. Scooby-Doo-Doo. Just because those charges was dropped, it doesn't mean that Joe was innocent. I mean, the reality of it is, let me give you an example. In the past, there was a situation where Joe, TA, and some of the terror squad was questioned about an assault on a girl, right? Make a long story short, according to TA, allegedly, and the female, Joe put his hands where he had no business putting it in this young lady, allegedly. She jumps out of the car, runs to the bathroom, and climbs out the bathroom window to get away from them. She dials 911. Now, here's where TA messes up his credibility, right? Are y'all listening to me? Are you following me? When that 911 call was made and those police got there, TA lied to protect Joe. So now, we in the court where you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Now you got Joe coming in that courtroom with 7 Rock Nation lawyers. Some of the top of the top, some of the best lawyers. Joe coming in that courtroom with. And some of y'all might not know how the courts work, but I do. Once TA wrote a statement saying that this stuff never happened, defendant Joe He threw his credibility in the garbage. When he went and TA was wrong, but he was holding Joe down. When that girl screamed assault, TA lied to protect Joe. So now you got the same man coming to the courtroom and trying to accuse Joe of all the things that once upon a time when the police questioned him, he said never happened. And I know some of y'all are gonna say TA is just as guilty as Fat Joe. I understand where y'all coming from, but I also understand the influence of the OG over the young G. I totally understand it. As far as this case goes, what I would say to Joe, it should have never came this far. Because the reality of it is, I don't think some of y'all guys out there, y'all realize that TA really looked up to Joe. That boy would have died for Joe. He loved Joe. He put in pain for Joe. He did anything that Joe asked him to do. So for Joe to end up going this far and ended up in the courtroom because Joe attacked TA first on social media and called them all types of bums, sofa surfers, just violated them. And when TA decides to respond back and get gritty and dirty to start talking and spilling Joe's tea all over the internet, Joe didn't like that. Joe thought that TA feared him. TA got frustrated and said enough is enough. So this is what led them to where they at right now. Personally, I don't think it should have went this far. I think Joe should have reached out to him and said, yo, you know what? Let's sit down, let's have a conversation. That's what he should have did. Now, part two of this case, like I said, I don't know if you're paying attention or not, but this case is not over. Now Joe has to explain to the IRS whether he told the truth or whether he lied when he said he paid TA X amount of money and TA said that never happened. He never got that money. So now the IRS is involved in this case. And there's other allegations. This case is not over. Am I saying that Joe is guilty? Nope. Am I saying he's innocent? I'm saying a bunch of niggas, like, come on, put it in the comment section. You know how many niggas we know beat homicide cases? We seen niggas catch bodies and they go to jail and they go to trial and it's not guilty, but they guilty as hell. So it is what it is. Let's stop with it. TA is not running around lying on Fat Joe and his image. This ain't the first time Joe ended up in court. Joe ended up in court with Big Pun's wife. And he lied about the outcome. He didn't take care of that woman. She had to sue him to get her rights back from that man. She had to sue him to get over decades worth of money that was just stacking up and piling and Joe not taking care of her. The reality of it is, he did Pun, the legendary Pun. Pun's family dirty. Pun's family was living in the shelter, the homeless shelter, while Joe was collecting checks. Pun's wife, little Pun, his wife, was living in a homeless shelter. The only thing that she had was Big Pun's truck. At one point, she was living in my building with her cousin Rachel. And the only thing she had with her kids was Pun's truck. Joe left her for dead, starved her. And there ain't no alleged on that. I watched and seen that girl ain't had no business being homeless. So when dudes be sitting up there talking about victory or niggas, Hulk, I love you to death, my nigga. But don't nobody owe that foul nigga apology. Just sit back and analyze. All these years, nobody even knew who TA name was. And the funny part about it is, Fat Joe got other artists right now that got in situations with me. We done bump heads in the streets. And it could have went real bad. And that same nigga that stuck his chest out for Joe could have ended up either in a coffin or he could have ended up in jail for the rest of his life. But we don't see Joe pumping that nigga music. Yeah, I ran into the Terror Squad outside. I ran into one of Joe's artists outside. Nobody knows this nigga name. And it could have went bad. Real bad. So my question to Joe, where's his reward at? Oh, he ain't tell you I seen him. I ain't gotta throw no names out there. Son ain't tell you I seen him, Joe. He ain't tell you we had words. Outside with that shit on. Nobody knows son name. None of his music is being spun on the radio. He's not even being pushed on Joe's Instagram. When Percy died, word on the street, Percy was trying to get a job. He wanted to run Joe's store. He wanted a job. Word on the street? Well, let's just say, Joe, you talking about all your dudes living in mansions with swimming pools? So that means to tell me that, never mind, I ain't putting niggas' business out there. All your niggas ain't doing, well, I guess they piss boys then, huh? The ones that ain't living in the mansions, because some of them niggas they ain't living in the mansions. And let's just say they're a little too old to be getting money the way that they getting money. They're a little too old. I'll leave it as that.
I'm gonna stop it right there, because that's crazy. Like, we already know how Fat Joe does people. You know, we know Cuban. All too well, like what he did to him. And bro, like, he's shiesty, man. Like, he's ruined enough people's lives. Like, who's gonna put a stop to him? It's like Jboss Ent is like, not, we made a diss track towards him, and Cuban's made plenty, and it's like we're trying to forget about this man, but every day he's doing something new to harm people. You don't just like steal from them; he puts them in horrible, horrible situations. So the title of my podcast today was just, I just said, I might be broke, but I'm still eating steak. So I'm eating my steak. I bought this, well, I still had money. I bought a half a cow. And this is what we're all eating because I got a freezer full of it. Freezers. Oh, sorry, I'm going to chew on here, but like I said, at least I'm eating steak. I might not have no money, but at least I'm eating steak. Everything he did to Cuban, like, I mean, it's 20-something years, but imagine, he ain't the first one. He's not going to be the last one. Someone's going to put a stop to this man. I mean, everybody's tried, but his money just keeps, and he says everybody lies. So say you sue him, but you keep a certain part of this, like once you went, like you'll settle outside of court, then but it comes with a gag order. So nobody knows. He'll say he's innocent even though he's guilty. I don't think that happened in this case that we're talking about with TA. I do know TA took the sexual acts out of his lawsuit, but at the end of the day, there's a good chance that's all true. But because TA screwed up and had his backs, lied for him in the beginning, like Hassan Campbell said. I just want to play that because it's like, it's just nice that it's refreshing to hear other people having the same conversation that we are here. Hood Smokers Podcast does a good job, talking about that situation, and we can't talk about it enough. Even though it's like, let's get on something new. Stop saying on the old, but it's hard to get out of the old when it's hurting the new. And then there's people suffering because of him that we don't know about. Like Hassan said, we don't even know who the artist's name was that Joe was putting in a bad situation. You don't even have an album or a song out yet, and you're supposed to be on Joe's label. Joe says he's got people in mansions and nice cars and swimming pools. Obviously, he don't. We know. I mean, what about the Tony Sunshine? Still doesn't have an album. He's got a couple songs these days, but we're not really fans of Tony Sunshine, but he was done dirty too. I mean, that was Cuban's artist. They don't talk about that. Tony Sunshine was Cuban Link's artist, not not Joe's artist. That was Cuban Link. Like Remy was Big Pun's artist. So there's a lot of dirt that goes on. Joe's never written his song. I don't even have a problem with that. It's just the whole point that he doesn't pay his guys that do write the music. Doesn't give anybody else credit. But if you're gonna be a real rapper, in my book, you should be writing your own stuff. Hell, I even write music. I just don't rap. So, that being said, I'm gonna put on. So I'm gonna put on some of our own music here. I'm gonna play. Hope everybody on here is Jadakiss fan because I'm gonna play Cuban Link and Jadakiss. We redid the beat on this for Jboss Ent with Giggles. Giggles is our producer and he does a good job with the beats. And I don't know where he is right now. He's supposed to be doing this for me, but oh, here we go. Here's the.
Jboss Entertainment, we lit chat.
Well, speaking of the 5% Nation,
Oh, that ain't it.
what do you know about?
Oh, that's not the Jada. That's our-
Jboss Entertainment, we lit chat.
Cuban, what up, baby? What up, D-block, yeah. You might catch me in the brownish coupe. I hug together like wishing a nigga 6 cells down a suit. New palm size 45 just came from. You don't know the streets around, we just came home. Even though it's death poetry, this ain't no poem. I'm the motherfucking champ, nigga, ain't no throne. This a whole blood and tissue, ain't no bone. Cause a hollow tip shattered if my life goes on. Number one debut, they think I'm another man. I counting so much money, I need me another hand. Niggas is still scheming, at least they still trying. If they ain't doing nothing else, at least they still dying. Coke is still high, purple still moving. I'm trying to get a better price, Poppy. I know Cuban, D-block discipline. Rough rider die with a fisherman. Recognize what kind of shit you can.
When you talk about that money, man, talk about G. When you talk about that hustle game, talk about K. When you talk about the struggle fans, talk about me. Speak out, but watch your mouth when you talk about me. When you talk about that money, man, talk about G. When you talk about that hustle game, talk about K. When you talk about the struggle fans, talk about me. Cuban Link, Jadakiss, double R, and I'm a threat. A legend that's urban, so for certain I'm going over your head like a Muslim turban. They know I'm in the terms, and I'm gun with service, guns observant. Cuban, but the guns is German. I've been urging to turn it loose. I got the burden of proof that'll determine your moment of truth. I've returned, so concern your troops. Now it's my turn to shoot. I'll make it burn like that bourbon juice. Confirm my dude. Nigga, use a made up name. You dudes is boost coke, man. I'm straight up king. From the booth to the booth, got that radar aim. AR-15s got a fucking tear y'all frame. Had to change up the game, got my weight up, man. Lil Fame, Lil Jane from that Jacob, man. Got these things giving brains, that's my wake up plan. From the range to the flames, time to bake up brands, up brands, up brands. Let's go. Now when you talk about that money, man, talk about G. When you talk about that hustle game, talk about K. When you talk about the struggle fans, talk about me. Speak out, but watch your mouth when you talk about me. When you talk about that money, man, talk about G. When you talk about that hustle game, talk about K. When you talk about the struggle fans, talk about me. Cuban Link, Jadakiss, double R, MOB. Around, now we do it the nicest. You bound to end up in a crisis. Cause we don't give a fuck who you know, where you go, what you know. They can never be like us. We're rapping for our peoples with righteous. The hood is show a nigga what life is. And we don't give a fuck who you know, what you know, where you go. We gon' always be like this, like this.
Cuban, what up, baby?
When you talk about that money, man, talk about G. When you talk about that hustle game, talk about K. When you talk about the struggle fans, talk about me. Speak out, but watch your mouth when you talk about me. When you talk about that money, man, talk about G. When you talk about that hustle game, talk about K. When you talk about the struggle fans, talk about me. Cuban Link, Jadakiss, double R, MOB, MOB, MOB. Yeah, Jada, what up, my nigga? Why, yo, yes, stand up, kick it, no problem. It's on to me.
Jadakiss on talk about it. One of his old off his album from years ago, off of, when he was with MOB. Dope song. Giggles did a good job with that. Some things I want to show you guys tonight that you might not know about Cuban that a lot of people don't know. I don't know if you guys ever heard of a guy named King Sun. King Sun is a guy that is familiar with Cuban Link, and I believe it was on Instagram, but I think he has a video on YouTube. King Sun, can you look that up? King Sun, where he talks about SUN. Anyways, get that video up. He's talking about how Cuban Link is nope, that's not it. Nope. But might go on his platform and look. That looks like it right there.
Yeah.
Down there. All right, so
That's like 15 minutes long.
right, but it might have that clip in there. We'll see if
Fat Joe. Okay. When
all right, let's watch this for a few minutes. It's very interesting, and I don't think too many people, but if you really know who Cuban Link is, you would have the same opinion, especially if you're a fan. If you don't know this about him, this is everybody's saying the truth, but it never gets heard. So this is by King Sun. He talks a lot about Cuban Link throughout this, but let's listen to this and
We'll do this one specifically on,
all right, so hit the pause button on that, and here we go. King Sun on
any game and anything that you have everybody that play in different positions, and you have certain people that run interference, and those who watch that show and really study that show will understand. I ran interference all the time. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? No matter how quiet you might have thought I was, when I knew the wrong thing was said, I ran interference. Right. And I don't think that was done that day. And it could have been done in a non-disrespectful way, So when he was doing the nigga stuff, I would have realized that this is, it would have made me uncomfortable. What I would have did personally, in a joking manner, in a soft, hey, Joe, you know what I'm saying? But, let everybody know that who's the closest nigga to you? You know what I'm saying? Who's the best nigga you know? Yourself. You know what I'm saying? So that would have because I already know he would have said that. So I'd have automatically known, that he considers himself a nigga. That would have been, Joe doesn't consider himself a nigga? Oh, okay. I guess I'm wrong.
I'ma say it with the truth, and like I said, no animosity, no hatred, no name callings, nothing. I can sit here on this couch and give you Fat Joe compliments all day. When I ran with him, we in the car, him, me, Flex, rest in peace, sometimes little Muggsy, little Bubba. We riding around the Bronx, whether it's Southern Boulevard, East Tremont, Grand Concourse, wherever. I was King's son. I got videos out. Wherever we go. And I would see little black dudes. And they'd see me going in the store, whatever. Joe and them in the car. Yo, King Son, blah, blah, y'all like your music, blah, blah, yo, what up, man, blah, blah, whatever, because I like to get to know everybody from a area. So whenever we would be in a black area where it's predominantly black, and I'm like, yo, So what up, like my man Bo Gamble and the Uptown Assassins. Shout them out, my man Poe, my man D, my man Earn Money and everybody, all them brothers from Uptown Assassins, Hellraisers and them. And they bear witness to this. We in front of the store, I'm like, go ahead, let me hear you rhyme. So then you hear your man Joe, damn, brother. Every time we go somewhere, you gotta stop and talk to every moyo. You gotta stop and talk to him. I'm like, yo, bro, you know what? You need to be easy with that moyo shit, man. Ah, come on, man. You ain't campaigning, you all the moyos. But if we went around the Puerto Rican area and they was failing me, it wasn't no problem. So I know that. You feel me? I'm not disrespecting. I'm telling it word is bond. I'm a grown ass man. Ain't no hair on my tongue. All that. He thought he was black, and he grew up with black people. He thought he was black. That's bullshit. You feel me? He knew he grew up with black people. He knew it was black people in his projects. Even when he got shot, I had to confront them brothers on Trinity Ave. On 10. And they, I ain't gonna say my man's name, but they know they lived on Law Finesse Block, which was 10, which was the black side of the projects. When Fat Joe got shot, me and Tone ran around there. When I went to run up to their building, clack, clack, I heard the Mossberg. Yo, God, peace, dog. Don't come here with that bullshit.
Don't forget to clean up, put the thing away.
Yeah.
So I walked up. When I walked up and built, they told me what it was. I ain't know it was a Puerto Rican black thing in Fars until this brother told me. With a Mossberg by his side, telling me I'm running with the wrong set.
So that was him getting shot was over a black Puerto Rican thing?
Him getting shot was over his sister's boyfriend, which is a black dude. His sister's boyfriend was with a black dude, something happened, blah, blah, blah. And Joe had ran up on a kid that he didn't suspect was strapped. And dude was strapped, pulled out, bust off. He ain't shoot Joe in the bike, caught him in the side of the shot, not that.
Yeah.
So, no, I don't know how that went. We wasn't there, but
Big son!
one, me and Tone heard Fat Joe got shot. We start running around the whole Bronx flipping. And I'm running around with my goofy ass flipping on black dude who's saying, yo, you the God, and you, yo, King Son, yo, blah, blah, blah. And even Tone was like, yo, chill, God. Tone was like, chill, God. But with all that, you know what I mean? This, that, and the third, yo, blah, blah, blah. Nah, the Moyo shit was strong and the Moyo shit was real.
So we just confirmed what everything that Cuba Lincoln TA was basically saying is the truth.
But of course, what they saying is the truth. You know what I mean? Because what we need the audience to know, or the listeners, or the court of opinion, what we need for y'all to know, man, that Cuban ain't doing this shit for clickbait. TA is not doing what he doing for click. TA still ain't get at me because I wanted to holler at him like, who are you? And, boom, bang. Not that we don't need a bunch of black dudes who lyrically nicer than Fat Joe to diss Fat Joe. I just want to know who they is on the rhyme side. You feel me? Like with Cuban is, I linked with Cuban, me and Ice-T was in the China Club. And Cuban was with a bunch of girls from the concourse that I knew. But they was with him and he was Terror Squad And I believe Paul's still alive there. But I'm the China Club is the exclusive joint, 72nd, 73rd, next to the Beacon Theater. I'm in there where I see me, Ice, and my brother-in-law, Lenny, Dominican staff. Cuban in there with the chicks from the concourse. Blah, blah. Oh, King Son, what up, y'all? Hey, blah, blah, blah. Cuban sitting there, pigs. Some gentleman gangster stuff. Peace, man. Shook his hand, shook my hand, drinking. We had Don P. In fact, Joe ain't had nothing to do with that. And I realized Cuban was his own man. Like, these cats really don't know me. But they know the girls that I know from the Bronx. So we got to connect. The girls like, yo, King Son, Puerto Rican girls, they got the bubbly, yo, King Son, yo, you don't know Cuban. They innocent, they don't know. So then Cuban, you know, I said peace, blah, blah, blah. But then it wasn't until after that, like more recently, that I built with Cuban. And Cuban was with my mans in the B&S crew, Butchie in the Joito in the. Yo, Cuban was like, yo, you know my mans? I'm like, yo, them my mans. From 92, 93, B&S. And my man's Butchie and them like, yo, Cuban is our people, nigga, that's us. That's family. Now these Puerto Ricans, some light skin, some trigueño, but in B&S, you got black, you got Boston, there's black in that crew. When I ran with Terror Squad, I ain't seen no black dudes running. B&S had black. Even if you it might be a dude darker than you, Puerto Rican. But if you're Puerto Rican and you trigueño or you cocolo like that, it ain't no, oh, Moreno, Moyo, all that bullshit. You might be Puerto Rican and we call you Moreno, or we call you black. But it's no difference, brother. There's no difference like that.
So that was a little about, you know, he said a lot about Cuban and Terror Squad there. And there's one more clip that I want to show. Do I do it? Find that clip while we're sitting here. Make sure the volume's down. I'll make sure the volume's down. And I want to get that on there because we all know, like, there's so many other, so many situations where, you know, people recognize what Cuban Link has done in this game and how he's been railroaded. And, you know, King Son is one of those people that will tell the true story. And he's definitely a true legend in himself. Everything I've known about King Son has been legit. So I'd love to hear that, you know, that spot. It might be on Instagram by itself. I'm not sure. We got that clip in we got that clip on somewhere's on our platform. Where is that spot? But anyways, see if we can find that on our we got that one video that we made with it on there. I don't think it's on here. It's probably on here, but we put a short up. Yeah, it's only like a few minutes long.
It's like a minute long, I know.
But it's not in this. It's not in this. So you're gonna find it on you're gonna find it on one of that video. have. But anyways, if everybody that's on here, a lot of you have already heard the stories, and if you haven't, look up King's Son, and we're gonna find that clip one way or the other. It's probably it's in our videos, bro.
Which one?
You made the video. It's on the one where we talk about Cuban Link. It's right in our videos. Go view your there you go. So that one you can find it on there. Just oh, that's not that. No. But there is one that we had up there. It might have been the one about that one maybe. Yeah, that's what Lord Jamar in there. We can even play that, guys. And we'll get this one up here. There it is, right there. Bring that right back, and we're gonna turn it around. I'm gonna turn the volume up on this.
I put Cuban Link's talent up against Jay-Z. I put Cuban against Jada, to be for real. And I don't care what negative comments come out of it, because y'all looking at Cuban Links from what you hear, but you're not knowing the adversities that's blocking him from putting out his best work. If I was a multi-millionaire and I was able to have record deals and give out record deals, I'm gonna sign Cuban Links. I'm gonna sign TA.
So now, Cuban's album, which I thought came out,
Here's another thing.
I didn't even know it didn't come out. So it doesn't come out, right?
What happens is
Why doesn't it come out?
we about to put it out.
See, that's a lie. I don't want to
Mastered,
hear it.
done.
But here's
Mastered.
Lord Jamar about Joe.
What do you know about God, Crack Kim,
I'm glad.
Great God Allah? You know what I'm talking about right now, right? You know who I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know. And what's funny is, I was really waiting to see if any other like prominent 5%ers would come out and talk about this and really like address it. And but it really seems like people are scared.
Is that what it is?
I don't know. Is it? Because the way people talk about it, it's like the gods I know back in the days would have never stood for that.
We're talking about Fat Joe, by the way. Fat Joe claimed that he's from a project called Godsville.
Forrest, but that was Nick's name, a nickname for it called Godsville.
Right.
Because a lot of 5%ers and all.
Right. He says so.
Now that's true.
He says,
That's
also,
true.
it's like the Mecca of the 5%ers. He said, I was God, Crack Kim, Great God Allah. And there you go.
Right. Now, let me just say, no self-respecting 5%er, God, Earth, is going to allow someone to incorporate negative with positive in their attribute/name. Like
Over here calling the FBA broke black racist. Come on, man, that don't make no sense whatsoever. The fact that you even saying that, it makes you look like you're racist. You already got a lot of stuff going on with.
I was just a
going at
fan
you 'cause,
on here.
You owe the
saying
money.
this.
The Big Pun's family.
Just a
Like,
fan.
Big Pun's own son don't even want nothing to do with you. He don't want to do a song with you. He don't want to even have you in his life, man. Like, cause you stole from their family. You had them, really struggling out here, man. Like on the real. And Big Pun, he's the reason why you even had success. Cause Big Pun was a way better rapper than you. Just like you said, Lord Jamar was the worst rapper in his crew. I don't know about that, but Fat Joe, you for sure was the worst one of your crew, man. Like all your artists wrote for you. You're not better than Cuban Link and all that. You're definitely not better than Big Pun, Armageddon, none of that. So at the end of the day, man, like, you did a lot of people wrong. So you got a lot of karma, on the real. And you're not like 50 Cent. 50 Cent put out all his artists. Fat Joe never put out his artists. I'm surprised 50 Cent ain't never signed Cuban Link to make Fat Joe mad when they were beefing, man, because 50 is petty like that.
Well, he actually
Cuban
take
Link's
that
talent
off.
up against
So
Jay-Z.
he actually 50 Cent
I put Cuban against Jay.
definitely
doesn't
did
come
pick-
out, right?
Definitely did.
Why doesn't it come out? You're
They
about
got
to put it.
definitely picked up Cuban, but there were some issues there. But to actually sign him. I mean, if you look up Wikipedia, it shows that Cuban Link was part of G Unit. Talked to Cuban about it, but I never got an official answer out of him about that. But that would have been dope if they did music together, because that Bang Bang Boogie movement with the whole Bang Bang Boogie, Cuban joined them because they're on the same kick about Joe, so that would have been dope if Cuban got signed and made music with 50, because Cuban's one of the best, if not the best, especially in the Spanish out of the Latin and Spanish rappers. Like, he's definitely the pun. He's probably the best. I'm pretty. Me. It could be biased because I fuck with Cuban. So Cuban part of our platform. So, but at the end of the day, I've always felt that way about Cuban ever since I met him. And before I even met him, I didn't even know all that transpired because I wasn't paying attention. I was just listening to music. I wasn't paying attention. There wasn't the internet like it is now today. So it gives you all the information. So when I met him, I knew at that point he had left Terror Squad, but I didn't know the details. So that being said, it was a little, there was a little information. One other thing I want to play up here. Can you find the Blazing trailer from Cuban Link was in a movie called it said Escape. So it was no, yep, Blazing. Yep, right there. Nope, go back. Hit the back button. Yep. So I'm gonna play that. So people didn't know, this is Cuban Link was in this movie called Blazing with Fat Joe. Cuban was an actor. By the way, he played in check it out, the season 5 of Law and Order, Criminal Intent, episode 5. But this is a trailer of a movie he was in.
Yo, Vic, get in. Got company, baby. No, I ain't had nothing to do with that shit, right?
Typical Fat Joe comment. To life. You don't have to just act it. That's something that he just says on his own. Like, that's just his normal self. So I just figured the fans would want to know about that if they didn't know. And also he was in Law and Order, Criminal Intent, season 5, episode 5. He was a pyro pimp. Did a good job in it. He worked with some good actors in it. He said he had a good time. One thing I found out about Blazing, he's not in the credits, but he was in the movie, the whole movie. Typical Fat Joe. Give nobody else credit. He was the only one out of Terror Squad that was in the credits. So you make me laugh, but only the stars in it that were known as actors was in it outside of Joe. He's the only one that got credits. I don't know if that was for royalties or to keep everybody else out, so he'd be the only one getting money. I don't know, but typical Fat Joe. But I liked at the end when he says, "I know nothing about it." Well, that's just typically what he says. Denies everything. I think that's funny. Now, there's note that people don't know Cuban. He actually paid someone. He never talks about it. He paid somebody to make the big pun mural. He paid for the paint and the artist to do it. A lot of people don't know that. So, just some facts that he doesn't ask for credit for, but I'm giving his flowers because people don't know. I didn't know really until he told me. So I'm gonna end this tonight. I hope that was informative. Tonight's topic was, even though I'm broke, I'm still eating steak. I started out eating steak. I have a steak because when I did have money, I bought a half a cow. So I hope everybody's well. It's after hours. And if you're up tonight, maybe you're at work or maybe you're just strolling through you're having a hard time sleeping, you're strolling through it. Life can get better. I'm saying that to myself. I have a hard time sleeping anymore because of the things I'm going through. You have marital problems, wife, husband, trying to make it work. Listen to each other. Don't try to take advantage of someone's feelings because they're kind. Just because you're a woman doesn't mean that a man doesn't want love back. They don't just want sex; they want more. And I'm not sounding like like I'm a little p word. I don't want to say it on because it's degrading to men. Because I'm not. I'm definitely a tough guy, but what are you supposed to be when you're with somebody you love? You're supposed to be soft and loving. Not hard and she told me I used to complain like a female dog. So and all I was doing was pleading with her. So obviously this relationship was destined to fall apart because someone that's willing to take everything from you, put you in jail on false allegations. Which Wednesday nights, I'm hoping to have a doctor on there. If not, I'm gonna have her on YouTube again, and we're gonna listen to that. It's very helpful. It's an outreach for people that are going through it, men and women. So if women are willing to come on, let's do it. Love y'all. Thank you for staying up with me. Please stay tuned, and you guys have a great night.